That's a great question, Nick. And what I will say is that, businesses impact our natural environment, they impact people, they impact the use of natural resources in every step of the process. And so if you don't ask those questions as a business owner, then you will unintentionally, uh, you know, have harm in a way that you might not have thought about. So, for example, if you are producing a product, you are going to have an impact on the environment in terms of how much water you use or how much energy you use. You will also have an impact on people and their safety, or putting them in environments that can jeopardize their safety. When you're producing products, you use or source different materials, raw materials, where those materials come from, then also the life cycle of those materials, how you dispose of them at the end of your process can either be helpful to the environment or harmful. And the long story short is, one way or another, you're going to end up paying for it as a business, whether you're paying on the front end or on the back end to make sure that you're disposing of materials in a way that is not going to be harmful to people and harmful to the physical environment. Yeah, I mean, some of the largest emissions, and I'm talking about greenhouse gas emissions, so those pollutants that drive the changes that we're seeing in our climate, come from businesses and buildings. And so again, if businesses and those that operate buildings or run out of buildings aren't responsible in trying to figure out, like, how can I use less energy? How can I use less resources? You know, if we had had this conversation decades ago, we might not be seeing, the extreme heat and the extreme weather and the flooding and all these things that are a direct result of greenhouse gas emissions and emissions of these pollutants that are driving our climate to actually warm. And this earth warming causes all these changes in our weather. So again, what we do now has ramifications for how we live later. And and that's totally evident in what we're seeing right now, but also for our children and the next generations. Yeah, no, I think, you said it. The first question is, what is the service that I'm providing and what is the impact that I'm having? So you really have to understand whether you're a business to business or whether you're providing a product or a service, is to question, what is the impact that I'm having? And so that impact could be positive, it can be negative, but really digging into, what are my processes, looking at the steps, is the first, that's the first part of the puzzle. What is the impact that I'm having now? And then the question is, how can I actually reduce the negative impacts that I'm having on my environment? And so that's when I would say, bring in folks like myself to begin to dig deeper into some of the processes and the policies or the practices that your company is using, to really question and do that root cause analysis to get to, well, what are the things that I need to change institutionally that will actually make my impact less harmful and more helpful to the environment and the people, while still getting the economic benefit and achieving my mission as an organization.
Right, and perfect segue. Could you remind us about your organization and how you help businesses make that evolution?
Sure. So my company is empowering a green environment and economy. So it is all about the environment and people. And what I try to do is offer strategic advice, help folks, organizations, whether there be government entities, nonprofits, professional societies, or for-profits, really institute and implement policies and practices that will, again, serve not only their mission, but people, and create places that are healthier and safe and environmentally stable. And so that is the crux of what we do at EGE Squared.